So the first thing to understand is that the root is Sumeria. Okay, that's where we begin, is Sumeria. And then we have Assyrian and Babylonian cultures, which are daughters of the Sumerian culture. Okay? So when you're reading Genesis, or you're reading about this creation story, there's already an assumption. Like, one of the things that I'm just going to repeat this because we were talking about last night, but for the people who wasn't here. So one of the things that I had shared was that if you say something, and can they hear me clearly? Ask them if they can hear me.
Clearly? Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Yes.
So, for instance, in this culture, one of the things I said yesterday, if somebody said, hey, this happened before or after 9/11, we all already know what that means, because the world knows 9/11 doesn't necessarily mean 9/11, but it means September 11th and the bombing at September 11th. So when you're looking at Genesis, there's an assumption that certain things are already known about the nature of the world and the nature of people, right? However, that common knowing has been stripped from us. So when we read it, some of the stuff doesn't really make sense because we don't have a common knowing, right? So just for example, who was Cain's wife? Right? Because because when he left the Eden, or the garden rather, he said, he left with his wife. And he also was concerned about people who would kill him because they would find out what he did to his brother. What are 3 things about that bring questions? What are 3 questions that you would think about that? And that's for people, y'all online or whatever.
Who was he afraid of?
Okay, who was he afraid of? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan. I'll just say one. Who would kill him with other people?
Mm-hmm.
Who were the other people?
How did they find out what he did to his brother just from killing him?
Good, that's one of them. Good. What's another one?
And where did his wife come from?
Where does wife come from? Exactly. So we got, where does wife come from? Those are the 3 ones I was hoping you would have said too. Where did his wife come from? How would they know what he did to his brother? And who were the other people that he was afraid of when he said, they will kill me when I go out there, right? So let's take the first one. Let's take his wife, right? So when we read the book of Genesis, can somebody pull up the creation online or whatever, when man was created? I can pull it up too.
Says,
who were those people related to for them to want to kill him? Right. Good question.
What was the question?
He said, who were those people related to want to kill Cain? Like, what was their skin in the game, basically?
We're just Googling anything.
Genesis creation story.
So Genesis 1:26, right? And God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay? So those of us who know better, what's the first things we're picking up with that? Because I read it wrong, so somebody fix it.
it's not God, it's Elohim.
It's Elohim. So let's start again. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image. Right? What other Elohim?
God.
The council.
Powerful ones.
Powerful
The other gods.
Time gratification.
We got one right answer. The powerful ones. Elohim means the powerful ones. Now we say gods and goddesses, but why do we call the Elohim gods and goddesses?
Because they do something we can't imagine ourselves doing.
Exactly. Because they can do something that we, and I'm just repeating everything you say so to make sure they can hear.
Okay.
Because they can do something that we don't imagine ourselves doing. But does that make them all-knowing, all-powerful deities?
No.
No. Okay, that's an important point to remember. So the Elohim said, let us, right? So we know multiple. Let us make man in our image. What was the word that was used for man there? I heard it.
Adon.
Adon. I heard breaker. That's all I heard.
He said Adon.
Adon. What does Adon mean?
Earth, clay.
Earth,
Red.
clay, red, red earth. What else?
Somebody said blood.
Dust.
Blood. Good. Dome. Dome means blood, right? It also means mankind. Okay, it's also a city in the Jordan Valley. All of that's very important. Okay, so the powerful ones said, let us make earth in our image, after our likeness, and let earth have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So the powerful ones created earth, or blood, or mankind, in their own image, but it says in his own image. So why would it say let us? Why we're talking plural, but then when it says in Genesis 1:27, so Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. What are we catching in that?
Somebody separated. Somebody separated themselves.
Somebody good. Say it again. In case they can't hear.
Somebody separated themselves from the group.
Somebody separated themselves from the group. So we know the powerful one said, let's do this, but it was one powerful one that actually did it. Everybody catch that?
Yes.
Online and stuff? I'll just have to assume y'all did.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's where we have to start. And then let's go back to, that's kind of where we have to start. But then let's go to Genesis 2 and 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. Oh, they were created in the day, and of the earth when they were created in the day that Yahuwah Elohim, because it says Lord God, but Lord translates to what?
Yahuwah.
Jehovah.
Yahuwah.
Oh,
Elohim is God.
okay.
Whenever you see God, it's actually Elohim, which is plural. Whenever you see Lord, it's Jehovah or Yahuwah.
That's in all caps, or
Which
sometimes they say it's in lower
Capitalized.
capital letters. Lord.
Which one? God or which word?
Just Lord.
Lord. No, it's the same thing
Okay.
either time. Because if it's all caps, it's a reference. I'm going to tell you why it's really the same thing. If it's all caps, it's a reference to Yahuwah. If it's lower, they say it's a reference to someone who could be a father. So it will translate to the word Baal, right? Because Baal is a deity, but Baal also means father or master.
Okay.
The truth is they're all the same word.
Okay.
The all caps is a trick. So Genesis is a book of tricks. It's all wordplay. Okay, it's not real. All right, and we're gonna get into how.
You were saying about Lord. Lord is, you explained about Elohim.
It's Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
So when you see Lord, just put the name Yahuwah there, or Jehovah, or Jehovah. So these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahuwah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. What does it mean to till the ground?
To work the ground.
To work the ground. But if I'm working it, what am I bringing forth?
Food
For who?
for God.
For the Elohim.
Because I wouldn't create a man to eat his own food. I would create the man for something that I need. But what else do you get out of the ground?
Gold.
Gold. Okay. So there was not a man to bring forth gold or to give us burnt offerings. Or was there? Because in chapter 1, man was created, and the man had what? Let's go back. Dominion over.
The earth. Yeah.
But what else with the earth?
Every living thing.
Every living thing. So let's right. All the fish and all the chicken, all the collard greens, whatever, man had dominion over it. Right? The first man. The second man was to bring forth gold. Okay.
Slaves.
Now, how do we know this is the second man? Because, again, we're in Genesis, because the first chapter, we got the creation of man. Then we go to the second chapter. I'll start at 2 and 12. And the gold of that land is good. This is referencing the land called Havilah. The gold is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. So we got a reference talking about gold, but we don't know why. Then we have in 2:15, actually, no, well, yeah, we can go to 2:15. We got 2:15, and Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Put him in. Where was he before?
Outside.
Outside of
The garden.
outside of the
Yeah,
garden.
pardon.
Okay. So that second man was Adam. Right? So there was a first group of men, because Adam, what it references man, the word Adam is like the word Yom. When you see Yom, we say it means day. But it doesn't mean day, it means time period. Okay, it doesn't mean 24 hours. It could be years. Yom could mean 1 year. It could mean multiple years. So man, Adom is the same thing. Adom means mankind. Okay. So now that we have that, and we realize that there's some questions that were not answered, right? Because we looked at them. One of them was, who were these people that Cain was afraid of? He was afraid of the first group of men that were created, that were not put into the garden. There was one group of created men in the first chapter, and those group of created men, what you could do is wrap the string around, and it'll hang if you put it there properly. The first group of men were created, and they were put out into the wild to be with the animals. They were in harmony with what?
Nature.
Nature. What was inside of nature?
Gold.
Everything that was listed.
Everything that was listed. They gave you a list. Because when he's saying you will have dominion over, he's saying this is all the stuff you're in harmony with. The creeping things, the fish of the sea, the herbs of the field, you in harmony with all of them. But this second man, he's not in the wild. He's a house nigga. This second man that's what he was. The second Adam was. You were here to till the ground inside of the garden. The rest of them are outside of the garden. They're wild. They're basically like barbarians. They're savages. But they're free and happy because they're they're in harmony with nature. They even get to fall asleep at the campsite, because there's always one at every retreat when we sit around the fire and do stories and stuff. There's always one. It's you this year. All right. Y'all keep singing. So those were the people that Cain was afraid of, because we house niggas, we gardeners. They're out there with lions and tigers and bears, oh my. When they find this out, they living by a different set of laws. They're gonna kill me, right? Now, I think it was Raheem, or it might have been Darian, that said, well, how would they know? Well, how did the Elohim know?
The blood cried out.
Yeah, they heard his
The
blood.
blood
Yeah.
cried
His
out.
blood cried out from the earth,
From the earth. Yeah.
right? So what does that mean?
The blood speaks.
Blood speaks. What else could it mean?
There must have been a connection with the lineage of that blood,
If they
of
live
that
in
bloodline.
harmony with nature,
Could be.
wouldn't they be able to sense like I can smell blood, like a shark can smell blood?
Okay. How did he know it was his?
There's something about it
Because
going
he
to the
created
earth.
them to be like us.
Is it possible that, okay, let's do this. In ancient Kemet, where was the Duat? What is the Duat in ancient Kemet?
That's the underworld, right?
The underworld.
Next world.
The underworld.
Earth.
Under the earth.
The earth.
Is it possible that when Habel was murdered, that he literally was underneath the surface that Eden was under, and was saying, he killed me, get him? So now when Cain travels out, there's a voice
Word is
underneath the
out.
earth, because we know when the flood happened that even the waters of the deep came forth.
Oh.
There's an underworld. But of course, when you think underworld, you're thinking of something spiritual, like it's an unseen world. There is a world under. We call it hollow earth. There's all different kind of theories, but he was down there. That's why they would be able to hear it up here.
His blood cried out.
His blood cried out, but blood also means mankind, lineage.
Right.
Could have been his relatives crying out, hey, he killed me. But also, where do we go when we die? What if
To
we
the
always
earth.
taught, where do we go when we die?
To the earth.
Under the earth.
The underworld, the Duat. That's always been the teachings. When we die, we go to the Duat. And then later the Duat became Anu, which became heaven. So if Habel was killed, technically, at the understanding at this time on the planet is that when you die, you go to the underworld.
Oh, at that time.
So he's crying out from where the earth. I'm hearing him from down there, coming through the soil. Okay. Was that the three answers? Was there another one?
Who's the
Who's
wife?
wife?
The
The
wife.
wife was one of the wild ones.
Yeah.
We'll get into why. Because now that we know that there were people in the garden and people outside of the garden, we got that part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, and I wonder if any of the women in the house can do this. I'm not feeling confident.
Do it.
We
We
can
can do it. We can do it.
Okay, before anything was created, what was there?
I knew.
Okay, keep going. There.
Then there was the heavens and
They
the
can't hear you. Don't whisper so I can correct it, and they can't hear that you were wrong. Be loud and wrong.
Then it was the heavens and the earth, which was Abzu and Tiamat.
Can y'all hear her?
There's like,
Did she say the heavens and the earth?
So after Anu, there was the heavens and the earth, which is Abzu and Tiamat. So Abzu is the earth and Tiamat.
water.
No, water.
There's water.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
There's a division
Fresh
of
water
water, salt
and
water, and
salt.
fresh
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
Who was salt water?
Tiamat.
Tiamat is the salt
And
water.
who was the female?
Tiamat.
Tiamat. So you had the female principle
Right.
of water, which was salt, who was Tiamat, and you had the male principle of fresh water,
Fresh
which was Apsu. You know, so the the concept there is now Tiamat and Apsu, they come together, they collaborate, and they create all of the other young deities or young gods. We call them gods, but what are they actually?
The powerful ones.
Powerful ones. Okay. Okay. Tiamat and Apsu come together, they make all the powerful ones. Now, what happens is that when they first create them, they start to argue and they fight. And what they're arguing, that's the wax, it's gonna go down. They're arguing and they're fighting for control. Okay, so what they do is they establish a council. And who's the head of that council?
Enlil.
Enlil.
Lord.
Right. So En means Lord, Lil means ear. So his name literally means ear Lord. They make him the head of the council. Why are we not really focused on the God concept? Why is it a mistake to do that?
Because
It's not in our word.
I heard something is not in our what?
I said it's not our word.
It's not our word.
It's not our word, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of that is true, yeah. Yeah. Technically, yeah.
And then focusing on the God concept takes the power away from ourselves. We kind of limit ourselves because we are the
I'd say we are the gods,
The
wasn't you?
Lords.
yeah we are the Lord. So by
Anu.
saying God, we're taking our power away because we cast it off like it's on far away in the sky instead of
It is.
Or you're focusing more on, when you say God, I think of, like you said, that's not important because you focus on one. You're not
One.
thinking of the many. Is that it?
Any other
I would say
answers?
because it's an error concept.
Okay.
It's a flawed concept that was, it's a misconception that was taught to us that gives us an errored perception.
What is the error?
That there is only one supreme being.
I'll take that. That's good. I'll take that.
Doesn't God just have a power than
I-
or ahead of you?
Say you taking all the smoke.
Nah, you say it again.
Yeah.
Saying that I said that it's a closed concept, so the word God closes it off, and somebody telling you what it is, like this is what it is, as opposed to Yah continue traveling, not closing it off at the end of how you even
I'm
enunciate
sorry.
the word.
I didn't even see what's getting you like that.
I
So
was going to say non-specific.
it's non-specific. Absolutely, because it's just a title. It's right. Okay, I guess you need that spiritual cleanse.
It's blowing right to you.
Right? It's just you. We good. We see how clear it is out here. So where did this story originate? Answers that we just talked about.
Akkadian, Sumerian,
What was the root? What was Sumeria?
Sumeria.
Okay. What's the Sumerian word for God?
N.
En means
There
Lord.
was Lord. There was no God.
There is no Sumerian
There
word
is
for
no
God.
Right.
That was added later. So there's a glyph, because remember this story was gotten from a tablet, a cuneiform tablet. So everything that we're talking about was a glyph and a symbol. There was a symbol that was later translated as the word God, or made to be the word God. But the symbol only means the sky. It's just a reference to the sky. That's it. So everywhere that you read about God, it really just it just said sky. And in particular, in your Sumerian, it was a reference to people in the sky. So if I say that, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The Elohim. The hovering.
Sky people, yes.
Right.
Invisible.
You said invisible. Why are they invisible?
They're in the sky. We could only see so far into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense.
But then we wouldn't say that something was in the sky because we can't see it anyway.
The aliens that came down and spoke to us.
Aliens that came down and spoke to us. Okay, I'll take that. What else though? Okay, let's try this.
They lived in the sky.
I'll take that too. But sky people, not sky god, not sky deity, not sky spirit. Sky people. What does that say?
So it's like the world of like the Jetsons.
It was just like another, yeah.
Who live in the sky.
Just like there was an underworld.
There we go. There's people who live in the sky, people who live on the planet. But what's the common denominator?
People.
People.
They're all people. So that means they're people just like you and me.
Right.
Yeah.
What would be the difference between us and them?
Where they lived.
Where they live. What else?
What they breathe.
What'd you say? I heard Antoine.
House nigga and
He said that very loud.
He said,
Loud and clear.
Nigga.
Yeah, I've been waiting to say it.
Yeah, brother, you felt that. So I would say the difference would be the technology,
You good? No.
right? Because these are the people who created Adom. They created the other people. So they had the technology to do so. People. So the Elohim are what?
Sky people.
Right? And the common denominator of what the Elohim are?
Powerful ones.
No, that's the definition.
Oh, the people. The people
People.
that live in the
The
sky.
powerful one was people, is that what you
They were just humans. What I'm trying to get to you, what I'm trying to get through is that this idea of these magical gods, they just can do magic. They can fly and they can make things appear and all that. That was just technology. They were people who just happened to be in the sky. Why were they in the sky? Because they had advanced technology.
So it's like going to a nomadic village in the jungle. with a
Right.
iPhone.
You got it. I knew you were going to bring up.
Taking pictures and they had never seen no pictures before.
Right.
Is that why the hieroglyphs stone have these boats in the air?
Yeah, the barks, the solar arcs.
Yeah, they look like ships in the air.
Exactly. And Ra would fly his every single day across the morning sky, and that eventually became the movement of the sun, as it was told.
And the 3 parts of the day.
3 parts of the day, right?
Right.
That's him taking his solar. They call it the solar bark, and going across the sky. Bark sounds a lot like arc. Okay, good. So now we understand that the people in the sky are just people. But we knew that from the Bible already, right? Because it said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So that would mean that the same makeup of the people who are down here are the same people, the makeup of the people who are up there. We got that part?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, when did it tell us that God was invisible?
It didn't.
Never did.
Never did.
It didn't.
So why do we say God is invisible? You can't see him.
We were told in church.
Church.
Yeah.
For the wrong guy.
Looking. Ooh.
What'd you say?
She said you're looking for the wrong God.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tell you God is invisible, if God appears, you'll never
Right.
You never know it.
You'll never know it.
Right.
Because that's not what God looks like.
Right.
But we were made in his image and likeness, so therefore
We
We are
physically
Look
see
like
isn't
him.
God couldn't God just
Be one of us.
put on some clothes and walk through this
Yeah.
campground because we made in the image and likeness.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, wasn't that the whole message with Jesus?
I was going to say, God birthed the Christ.
Right. And they didn't believe him. They thought he was just a revolutionary looking to take over the government.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So we're getting closer. Online people, y'all following? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So now, I just wanted to get to that side people. So now, I'm gonna give it to you real basic as far as this understanding. So we have, we have the earth in the beginning. The earth is barren, right? And the sky people, because we're going to use the right words for a little while. The sky people, they create a zone, like an inner zone, an enclosed zone. And they take that enclosed zone and they fill it up with botanical life and with animal life, right? What's that zone called? Eden. It's Eden is nothing but an enclosed area, okay? And they use that area because of why? Why did they pick that particular area?
Gold.
Because of everything
The
that
gold.
all the
What else?
waters
Yeah,
that
good.
ran through it.
What ran through it? Exactly. They choose that area because it was close to fresh water. The Tigris, Euphrates rivers. That's why that area was chosen.
So it's not necessarily like a place you can't find or anything.
There's a place in Nigeria called Eden, where they say life began. When did they start saying that? They said that's what we've always known. Not when the missionaries came here. We've always known that this is where life started. It's spelled I-D-E-N. We know it's a physical place because it gave us the location. Where these rivers right here cross. You know? So let's go now to the making of the people. Enlil is who?
Air Lord.
Air Lord, but what's his?
The head of
He's the head of the
the
council.
head of the council.
The council of what?
The God.
Of the gods.
The Elohim. The powerful one.
Of the powerful.
Yeah, we always go right back to God.
Psyops.
It is a psyops. Exactly what it is. It's exactly a psyops. Because everything I'm saying, this is just regular Bibles. This is not deep. You know, you just read the tablets. It's right there. It's just when somebody tells you, when somebody puts it in front of you and says it's not, you're not seeing what you're seeing. You're seeing what I'm telling you you're seeing. Then it just becomes that. But it's right in front of you. Right. Yeah, like MIB. Right. But it's right there. So Enlil, his first officer is Enki. Enki is his brother. And he makes him like his first in command. Enki, En means what?
Lord.
Ki means earth. So Enki was the Lord of the earth, or Earth Lord rather, Earth Lord. So like when you hear Anunnaki, Ki in Akkadian means earth. So Anunnaki, Anu, those who came from heaven on earth, Anunnaki. So Enlil gives Enki a job. Enki's job is to oversee this experiment of the creation of humans. Because remember,